What is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here. That's Dean7904. If you want to get all technical, apologies for the slight hiccup, the slight delay. I don't know how. We still have an hour and 10 minutes. Hopefully that's enough to break down tonight's six-gamer. I'm not going to point fingers. I'm not going to say what happened. And I'm not the kind of person. It's a team. I'm not going to say this is someone. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't Will's fault. It wasn't producer Steve. I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not that kind of guy. It's just not
it actually wasn't even TJ.
Well, I mean, by
if you want to get all technical.
I will take the blame for that one, but I will tell the story on another day. I just say I have some visitors at the house right now, and they caused some havoc. But I should have probably even delayed for longer because it's 6 games, and they are the least exciting 6 games we have ever had. So thankful that today is a 3-man booth, so we can kind of just hang out with, especially with my guy Will.
Listen,
Will's
DJ, we didn't get out. See,
Will,
here's what
Will defended
TJ
me. He didn't point the fingers.
Yeah, we didn't get our Saturday shows in this month, TJ. So we need these midweek shows to keep us on track. Good to see you, my brother.
Good to see you as well, Dean. It's great to see you too, though.
Likewise, that doesn't feel as heartfelt, but that's fine. I get it. And it'll be confirmed later on in the show. I don't want to spoil the tiers, but I've seen the tiers list. And TJ chose violence. He chose violence, and we'll discuss. And hey, we need some filibusters. We got to fill some time because, an hour and 10 minutes till crunch time comes in. You guys get 2 of the best in the business later on. Dave Potts, SquirrelPatrol. Of course, you get the best meteorologist in the business as well with Kevin Roth. Should mention, did I drop this in chat? I know I highlighted it to drop in chat. Potentially dicey situations as far as weather. 33 1/3% of the games right now are either are yellow orange. That's Toronto at Boston, 2 of the 6. Yellow orange currently as well in New York, the Battle of New York. Wild things happen in New York in that series. I don't know if you guys have heard that. They did happen last night. It was like a 9-7 game. A lot of runs scored last night in New York. Izzy is talking about the Tim Duncan Mets, and producer Steve was none too quick to put that one up there because he was victory lapping his Mets. Grimace is still doing his thing.
I told him they're not the bottom tier. Maybe today, honestly, but not yesterday. Because I said Garrett Cole is a bum.
This is funny. I'll tell a little funny story because we got the time. So there's a big sports fan, big hockey fan, on part of the Agents of Fandom. That he's a big Celtics fan, he's a big Bruins fan, big Red Sox fan, lives just outside Boston, loves all that stuff, but not actually your typical Boston sports fan. Like he's likable. He's likable. Yeah, he's likable. He's not rubbing it. He's not rubbing it in. He's likable. But one of the things he kind of started doing within the Agents of Fandom group chats as a joke was just like reviewing any new product that came to McDonald's. And so long ago, months ago when it was out, he did a video review of the Grimace shake. And he drank the whole thing, chugged it down, and just had some stomach problems for days and days afterwards. So for months, as like Grimace is popping up more and more in McDonald's promotional stuff, it's just been like rubbing it in for him, and Grimace has just become like his enemy. And now after throwing out the first pitch of the Mets, he's going viral again just because he's making this big winning streak happen. So his arch nemesis is making his way back to the top of the news, and it's just absolutely killing him. So shout out to my friend Mark, and shout out to Kirk D's Chris Kirkwood in chat because he's part of the tiers today.
Yeah, he's definitely he made the tiers. I remember a friend of mine was trying to get. They were very upset. They wouldn't sell the Grimace shake a la carte. They forced you to buy like fries and maybe a burger or a drink. I don't know what else. And it was like $15 for the Grimace shake, and he, at a principle, he refused. But so I guess he didn't want to pocket him at $15. But I was curious what flavor it was. I just Googled. What's a purple flavor? It's berry flavored, allegedly. According to the interwebs. You guys ever have the I guess it's gone now, right? That was a seasonal thing. But There you go.
Yeah, my son was part of the Grimace Shake Challenge. Listen, man.
Oh, there was a challenge.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. Probably, I'm assuming it was on Instagram. My son did it. And I tell you, these kids, man, it's so interesting seeing them grow up. And there you go. So I'll just leave it at that. Shout out to my boy Kirkwood, the biggest Jug Nation. Stand up. Like, we're just getting Jug Nation going early. My boy Kirkwood's in the building. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man. Listen, this is not me. I promise I'm not trying to force the company to do anything. But, man, I sure could use a nice RG party right now to link up with my boy Kirkwood, man, especially after this Celtics championship. He would be, like, one of the best guys to hang out with this summer. Need to get my boy Kirkwood. Just in general, man, just to get a chance to see everybody, which I do get to see Stevie outside the RG party because, we're both on the East Coast, and I see him I would say I see Stevie probably twice a year outside of like RG. But yeah, I don't get to see my boy Kirkwood too much. He's a lot further up the East Coast in the Northeast. So I'd love to get a chance to see everyone, especially TJ. TJ, if you can make it, because I know
nobody's seen TJ. I don't think.
I'll try and I would try and make it happen before. The only reason I didn't last time is I had another trip booked at the same time, I think. Like the only people on the team I've met in person are Andy Means, Squirrel, and Christy.
Okay. Oh yeah. I think I've got
live final.
Live final, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And it was in Chicago, so Andy was there hanging out.
Yeah.
You had to go out of your way to clarify that Andy wasn't a qualifier.
No. I meant it as a positive. Like, it was his city. He came in, hosted us, told us where to go. Like, it was very helpful that he came, and it was like we were he babysat his little RG crew. He came in, made sure we were all good.
Yeah, told you to go to Portillo's or something. I don't know. Alex also hanging out in chat. He's also a Chicago resident, I believe.
Yeah, Santi, yes.
Got to give Alex a call next time when the RG crew is getting together. All right. You kind of mentioned this pre-show. Well, this slate is a stinker. We've touched on it several times already. How we don't necessarily love this slate, but how do you feel about 33% chalk Gavin Stone? Luis Heels 29%. We saw he got his face punched in last time against Baltimore. That'll happen sometimes, and your walk rate is really sketchy. Cutter Crawford 28%. Alex says nobody wants to be around his kids. Well, I mean,
he then proceeds to say, "I don't want to be around." Santi, stop it, man! Stop it.
You guys can relate to that more than I can, I suppose.
Let's hope he doesn't have the sound on with them in the house right now.
Nah, they know it's a joke. Dad's just joking around, I'm sure. Crawford 28%, and then we have the battle. I love this. Has to be the first time in baseball history where two Haydens square off. We've never had two Haydens face each other on the mound at the same time. I wouldn't think. There's a person named Hayden Birdsong who's getting 23% ownership for the Giants tonight. I swear the Giants have a new pitcher every single night. Every one of their pitchers are gone. Just a new person, like a creative player. Fascinating name. 23%. Wisniewski on the other side for Chicago. This is Shamanaya, 20% ownership against New York. Do we feel good about that? Probably not. But as Dave put in his article, and I say this all the time, DK, they will not accept my lineup if I don't, I have to insert two starting pitchers. It's part of the rules. We all signed up for it. I don't like one, let alone two. Will, you tell me, what is your thoughts as far as the slate, the overview? If you thought, the pitchers were bad, earlier in the day, you played the early slate, they have gotten worse. I don't know. Feels good, but don't love the matchup. Yeah, Will, how do we feel about the pitchers on the slate overall tonight?
It's awful, and so Dean, this is like a single entry slate for me. Like I don't even want to mass multi-entry this thing. and Dean, listen, for baseball, as TJ knows, I've become more of an MME guy than a single entry guy. Back in the day, I was more single entry for baseball. This slate, my God, it's just awful. I I feel like it's one of those ones where you just close your eyes and click. The pitching position. Let me just say that. Let me be more specific. Close your eyes and pick. Take your pick. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know which one of these pitchers is going to be best. It feels like it should be Gavin Stone, but I don't know. It could be Cutter Crawford. It could be, heck, it could be Eric Fetty. Maybe he gets lucky against the Dodgers today. It's just, I mean, it's awful, D. This is god awful. So
we were talking about the KBO earlier today, so maybe it is Fetty. That was our pre-show conversation. The KBO, yeah. It's a sign. Yeah. Maybe.
I don't plan to try to convince the viewers and listeners on anything pitching related. I just plan to give them the information, Dean, if that makes any sense. It's awful.
Should mention the Dodgers did get Teoscar Hernandez back, so but they're not full because, well, Betts obviously out, and Will Smith is taking a seat. So it's still not the best Dodgers lineup. A little bit different of shuffle as far as their lineup. They're going left, right, left, left. Ohtani, Teoscar, Freeman. Batting cleanup for your Los Angeles Dodgers in the year 2024, Jason Hayward. And then Paez, Lux, Rojas, Enrique Kike Hernandez, Austin Barnes. All right. They do have close to a 5 total because they're, in Chicago, good ballpark. And, Fetty's good, but not, untouchable. Atlanta, St. Louis, they're currently playing right now. Assuming they don't go into really, okay, it's going to be a couple more outs. The game's going to end. Okay, I was thinking possibly there'd be a threat of some extra innings. That's not going to happen. Atlanta up 6-2. Back half of the doubleheader is on the DK and FanDuel slates. Liberatore and Elder are expected pitchers. TJ, what are we doing here as far as this slate? It is UGLY. It is ugly. Anything you like? You want to sell us on? Different degrees of ugly, I suppose. How do you feel about the pitchers and the slate overall?
So it's ugly. There's nothing I feel good about in terms of individual plays, but I actually really like the slate. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's disgusting, but in a fun way. And so I'm still playing 150 lineups. I don't have a lineup set yet, but I got a player pool with 7 pitchers in it. And I'm excited to play this one. I actually think it's kind of fun.
Well, listen, Dean, before we continue on, let me just say this is our official. TJ has been welcomed to the official parenthood moment because he's smelled diapers that are worse than this slate. And that's what's happening here. TJ's got daddy diaper syndrome. And he's like, oh, this slate doesn't stink. I mean, I just changed the diaper yesterday. That was clearly worse than this. But at any rate, it's terrible. But
TJ, is it better or worse? Is it better or worse than you anticipated? I'm sure you didn't anticipate it be a diaper experience as a general or a specific thought. Is it better or worse than you anticipated?
The slate or changing diapers?
The diapers. Since Will brought it up.
Nowhere near as bad as anticipated.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. It's so easy. I thought it would be smelling terrible and just really gross. You grab a little wipe and it's all done immediately. And so it's nowhere near as bad as anticipated.
Kirkwood enlightening us in the chat, saying the best dad moment is the first time your kid pees in your face. So I don't have you been indoctrinated? Is that a rite of passage for a father? I suppose. I don't know.
I haven't had that. I think that may just be a boy dad thing. But the funny one that does happen is just you're in the midst of changing a diaper or you just finish and then it's then just twice as much poop starts coming out afterwards.
Yeah. Wash,
or so here's a funny one, and I promise we'll talk baseball. So the funny one, TJ, is when they actually can crawl around and walk. And then what's going to happen is you're going to experience this once. They're going to disappear on you. They're going to just go stand in a corner, right? And then they're going to squat down and you're not going to see them. And then finally you're going to say, hey, my daughters, but anyway, my younger daughters, when they were little babies, they'd go do that. They stand in the corner and then you look for them and they're down in the squat position and you're like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Don't do this, right? After you've just changed them. Oh, best moment ever. You'll never forget those moments. Never forget it. Oh, man.
What's your pool going to be, TJ? I'll say this, but I don't know if you guys are playing on FanDuel. I thought it'd be fun. I wanted to get into some FanDuel action, but unfortunately, I got caught up at golf, so I was making golf lineups in between the two slates. But we could play our guy Hayden on FanDuel. He's like 5K over there, and like just have unleash the hounds, as Roth would say. If you don't like the pitchers, and maybe he eats his way like 30, 25 points or so. If the big bats go off, I thought that was an interesting approach. On DK, they actually gave him a real price. How much is on? Let's see, what is he getting as far as ownership? 13%. No, I'm sorry, that's on it's 20% on DK.
So on FanDuel, for what it's worth, I would have 100, like in 150 lineups, I would have 100% Hayden Birdsong.
See, he's like 12% over there, and that seems like a lot of fun, right? You're just taking a stand against all the pitchers, essentially. Yeah,
exactly. I would be rolling 100% Birdsong.
Yeah, and he might be terrible, just to be clear. And I assume you think he might be terrible, but we don't know that. He could be okay. We saw a lot of Ks in the minors. I think he just got elevated to AAA not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. But just a lot of injuries. So he's certainly worth a look. Are you playing FanDuel tonight, Will?
No.
I'm going to see if they let me log in right now.
But listen, I've been having trouble with DraftKings because the stupid Spectrum internet keeps crapping out frequently, and DraftKings thinks I'm jumping between locations, so they blocked my account several times over the past week. Because I would send an email and I'm like, hey, one time, Dean, they told me they were closing my account permanently. I said, whoa, guys.
Oh,
I said I've been a DraftKings subscriber pretty much since you guys started the company. Okay, so let's not go that far. And I said, if you guys will just look into it further and verify, you'll notice I've never used a GPN. I live in South Carolina. I'm usually only on my office computer or on my phone with the app. So finally they looked into it. It was a false positive. Sorry. Maybe you need to just log out. So Dean, I just started logging out of DraftKings now every time. I have to log out on my app and my computer just in case. Log in to play, log out when I'm done. But it comes with the territory. They're getting big. They got the sports book and Pick Six and all these other things now. And so, the company's grown and we've got to deal with it.
You mentioned Pick Six, Will. I should go ahead and mention if you're an RG Premium subscriber, you can now use RG Pick Six, DraftKings Pick Six, the browser extension. Now this is for Firefox only, to have your premium props and pick'em projections overlaid on the screen to help you make quickly and easily find the lines with the best values and make expert picks all in one place. Download it today at Firefox. Did I just lose internet? I feel like I just lost internet. Can you guys hear me?
No, you're still here.
Yes.
Oh, that was very strange. Slight hiccup there for a second. That was so weird. You're just going on your rant there, Will, and I thought somehow it carried over here. But I've been having some issues internet-wise, but that's not worth getting into. Hopefully, we are good to go. By the way, do want to mention this, and we're going to get this in early. Hopefully, you guys know by now, every Wednesday, it is Wheel Wednesday, which means you got to jump into Discord, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. It is scrolling on the chat. Throw your just click the avatar, just hit the avatar, get yourself eligible, your name gets thrown on the wheel, you spin the wheel, and if your name pops up, you get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. If you want to cut out the middleman, just go ahead and pay for it. Y'all can do that too. Never a better time to sign up for RG Premium. MLB, PGA, MMA, WNBA, NFL right around the corner. If you want to commit to 6 months, you get $250 off the main, as opposed to going month by month by month by month. You want just 1 month, you can have that too. $40 off. You want just 3 days, you can have that as well. That's $19.99. All the links for that are in the description. Will, we have your Boom Fantasy video. We'll be playing later as well. But yeah, we're going to do all that before we do tiers. So, let's make producer Steve's life a little bit easier and get in as early as possible. Click that avatar so you can throw your name on the board. TJ, you're making 150 lineups. There are 12 pitchers throwing baseballs at the start of the night. How many of those 12 are currently in your pool?
7.
Okay. So are we going to play the game? Is that what we're doing? We're going to play the game? Yeah.
Yeah, probably will be pretty easy, but we can play the game.
Yeah. I guess we could. It's
not going to be any easier than normal. You'll get the first few, and then there'll probably be some X's. So.
Okay. Well, you want to go first?
Of course,
tell us
I'm
who's in TJ's
going to take the low-hanging fruit and take Birdsong because we already know that Birdsong is in there. We'll get it kicked off with that's the obvious one. Just get that one out of the way.
See,
TJ?
Here's the thing. I'm willing to bet, Dean. I want to know. Did you think is that to you an obvious one or would that have what guess would that have been on your list?
Well, I mean, look, I know you're going to have like Heel in there just because he has K upside and you have the money to at least get some, but I think for sure you have to have some Birdsong if you're making 150. Like I'm making just a few lineups that I'm going to have probably at least one. So like, yeah, I think it's not the lowest of hanging fruit, but like I can grab it.
It's important to note that Will has, in the history of us doing tiers on Grinders Live, Will has never received an X, and Birdsong is my highest owned pitcher today.
Yeah, I mean, you also said you would click the lock button on FanDuel. A little bit different situation over there because of the price. He's just 5K, and you can do whatever you want as far as the hitters. But what do you want to say? Good ballpark, mostly stretched out. We're giving 81 pitches, pretty fair price. K's in the minors. What else do you want?
And projected to be the 4th or 5th highest owned pitcher today. That's another really big one for me. It's an unknown in a great park. I'm just gonna play an absolute ton of him today and hope for the best. It's one of the better matchups in the best park on the slate. There's a lot of downside because he could just be terrible, but I think that's also keeping his ownership down. I think he's got the best upside for the price on the slate.
Well, what's your official take on Birdsong? Did you know that TJ was on him, or you like him as well?
Yeah, no. I assume TJ would have been on a guy like Birdsong because you got to think on a slate like today where all the pitchers or most of the pitchers, you have some uncertainty. Like you got to know TJ is going to take shots. So let me just say that, Dean. I'm gonna give you some insight to my boy TJ here. You got to know he's taking shots today. And that should help you the rest of this game.
These are obviously incredibly small sample sizes, but in the last 30 days against right-handed pitching, the Giants have 2 bats with an ISO better than 115.
Wait, the Giants you're talking about?
Yeah. That is irrelevant to this situation. It's the Giants park and the Cubs have a big strikeout rate. That's why I like him.
I thought you were suggesting you might be playing, Wisniewski in the other side.
Wisniewski, no, sorry. I confused myself there.
No worries. Yeah, because he's basically, he's a glorified opener. We're giving him 60 pitches. So he's not going to last very long. 3-ish innings, give or take.
So Dean, now that you're saying that, I think you can essentially assume
he's out.
He's not going to play Wisniewski because of the PC. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he's way too expensive to be investing money in, even on this slate. So that's one down. I can assure you, TJ is not playing Hayden Wisniewski here.
We can work backwards. Like Liberatore, same deal. Like, he's only going to throw 60 pitches or so he's out. Like, we can go both ways on this. TJ confirmed Liberatore is not in the pool. No chance.
Liberatore is not in the pool.
The tricky one, and I thought, Will, you were kind of like alluding to this, like that TJ is going to throw some darts. TJ is going to take some chances. And
he is.
Rodriguez is like mostly stretched out and he's 5K. Now he's been bad and Boston's been good and that ballpark is tough and weather might be lurking. I thought you were alluding that he may be playing, some 5K Rodriguez, which I don't know. I was trying to see TJ's face and he wasn't really giving me a tell of any sorts. Couldn't quite read him. I think Ryan Nelson's the guy.
I'm going to give is that we got 300 people over that watching on YouTube already. And there's going to be more coming in as crunch time comes in. I'll give a Spidey bomb every 50 likes. First one at 50, so 14 likes away.
Let's just put that in the back burner for now, unless you have a thought on that. Well, and I think not that I like Ryan Nelson. I don't get that impression either, but a little more stretched out. I like the matchup a little bit better, and he's basically the same price. But like Cutter Crawford is somebody you're gonna pick on your Blue Jays. you got to pick on him to some degree. I assume Cutter Crawford is currently in the pool, TJ?
Yes, but I will be underweight.
Because
the Blue Jays are hot. They don't strike out, and they're hot. Like, Cutter Crawford is a very good pitcher. He is probably the best real-life pitcher on the slate. I just don't really want to be targeting the Blue Jays, you know? Like, he has put up some really big games, even against some really good teams. And the Blue Jays aren't that great of a team, but they don't strike out. It doesn't feel like great chalk. The fact that he's coming in currently projected less owned than Gavin Stone and Luis Heel makes me want to be more like, I may not be actually fully underweight on him. I may be close to even, but the cap I have set on him is 30%. So I won't have much more than that.
Lowest Sierra on the slate, Eric Fetty, 378. Second lowest, Crawford, 379. Luis Heel, 385. Wisniewski doesn't really count. Those are the only four that are under 4. As far as Sierra's, Crawford, kind of a fly ball guy, which you don't necessarily love there, but Toronto's kind of a ground ball team, right? But I think you can play both sides in that. Well, your thoughts as far as Crawford?
Yeah, he goes in the pool. Dean, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna have a whole lot of elaborate analysis today because I don't really like any of these pitchers, but Crawford definitely goes in the pool. He's respectable. Dean, that'll be my word for the day. I'll allow it. He's respectable.
Yeah.
Producer Steve, hey, can we just go ahead and get that teed up? Dean's going to ask me about a pitcher. If you can just get that Ken Jong gif and just says, I'll allow it. Let's just get that queued up, and we'll roll with that the whole show. That'd be fantastic, by the way. Fantastic.
On DraftKings, I think for cash, you're choosing between 2 out of 3 of Stone, Crawford, and Birdsong, but probably Stone and Crawford.
I think you consider Heel just because, he can get you.
I don't.
No? Okay.
I'm not like people can absolutely, and he's in the discussion. For me personally, he would not be.
Tell me why. As far as you're talking cash, I'm assuming you're gonna have some Heel in tournaments. He's currently 29% owned. I know we got shellacked last time out against Baltimore. It's a much better pitching environment tonight in New York. The walks are the issue, right? The Ks are great, 29% Ks. The walks over 12%. And he's a fly ball guy too. But tell me why you're going to be under in the field as far as Heel. Is that what I'm hearing?
I will be under, and I would have less than that. And I wouldn't. The reason I wouldn't consider him as cash is because I basically view Heel, Stone, Crawford, and Birdsong as the same guy today. But Heel is $1,500 to $1,000 more expensive, to $2,000 more expensive.
I should reiterate. I should go ahead and read this one more time. Oh, by the way, we did get an update from Roth. Okay, good. And Roth will be on in 40 minutes and give you even more update. But straight yellow now in Boston, so I guess looks a little bit better there. Models have been very back and forth on the intensity of storms near Boston. Right now, they are back to downplaying them. As far as New York and the Mets, yellow-orange, I expect a line of storms to arrive during the game. My best guess here, as of 2 hours ahead of first pitch, is start dry, in-game delay, finish game, nasty storms, follow game. But we have to know, and obviously the closer we get, when's that delay coming? If that delay is coming in the 3rd inning, I don't want any Heel. The delay is coming in the 7th inning, I don't care. I'm fine playing Heel.
He said in a tweet he'll update potential delay timing closer to first pitch.
Yeah. Obviously, it's trickier to do now, but that is
could be enough. That could be enough to just get me to hit the X button on Heel totally.
Yeah. If it's 7th inning, who cares? But if it's possibly 3rd or 4th or 5th inning, I don't know. And I wonder if it's like 2nd inning I guess he's saying they're going to start dry. So, all right, stay tuned. Best we can, but just use your brain on that one. If a delay is coming in the 3rd or 4th or 5th inning, don't pitch him. And same deal with Manaea on the other side, who may or may not be in TJ's pool. I feel like Manaea is like on the fringe. What's your? He's probably not. Well, he might be just because of the slate. Well, what do you think? Do you think Manaea is in TJ's pool tonight?
Yes. Well, I would assume he was, but if the weather's rough, I know TJ enough to say, there's enough 7K pitchers. I'll scratch them. I'm going to assume Manaea was in to kick it off because the projection coming from the bat was fairly good compared to some of the other 7K guys. I'm going to say Manaea was in the pool.
It's a fluid situation.
He wasn't, and it was but the original weather was like the kind of tiebreaker to get him out of there for me.
Weather was I knew this.
Will's streak is over. Will's wrong.
And for what it's worth, I have actually taken Luis Gil out of the pool too. Manaea has shown a lot of upside, but it's the freaking Yankees, and there's the weather issues. So I'm going with no Manaea. And for ownership reasons with the weather, I'm taking out Luis Gil as well. I'm stacking up the Mets today. Let's go, Steve.
But is that subject to change? Like you reserve the right to change your mind if Roth says, well, the delay's not coming to the 7th of the 8th.
I don't want to have to pay attention. And so I'm just not.
You got diapers to change.
Yeah. To full disclosure, I this game is right at 5:10, and so it's the first one that locks, and Roth is gonna be on crunch time. So it's not like it would be that big of a deal to have to pay attention regardless. But after I'm planning on just putting my lineups in, and then I'm the one writing the review for the Bear for Agents of Fandom. And FX did not send out any screeners to anyone for review purposes. The only people who got screeners were like the super big companies that did interviews, like the Tonight shows and the things like that.
Yeah.
And so not only did they not send screeners, but it's not a week-to-week release. It's a binge release.
10 episodes. Here
all 10 episodes tonight. So I'm going to be today and tomorrow just binging the hell out of the Bear. So that I can start writing my review.
I did see I'm sure you know this. They moved it up 3 hours as far as the delay. As far as the hold on, I'm getting a phone call in my ear. Gotta
is it on your house phone, Dean, or your cell phone?
It is not a house phone, it's my cell phone, and it's ringing in my ear, and somebody I've been playing phone tag with, but they don't know me well enough to know this is what I'm doing every single day at this time, apparently.
Dean, do you still in fact have a house phone?
No. Come on. What says 322?
But Dean, you had one last year, so I'm checking.
Yeah, house phones for the birds. No longer. I mean, ridiculous. And I got suckered in where they're like, yeah, well, if you add the phone, I'm like, I don't want the phone. If you add the phone, it actually makes everything cheaper. I'm like, how is that possible? Like somehow, like you bundle it with your cable and all the nonsense. It's like it's gonna be $50
sold D on a house phone for the bundle, and it was supposed to be cheaper.
That's how they get you. So,
so Mr. Shableson, if you and hear me clearly here, so your regular cable is $79.99, along with your internet service, which will increase it to $99.99. If you add your house phone, it's $104.99.
It went something like this.
Makes all your services cheaper. D said, why not? So you paid $5.
I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, but you sound delightful. Let's do it.
$5 to $10
you would never mislead me
for a service that he never used, and then his house phone would ring during GrindersLive. Unbelievable. D, I love this, man. Thank God for this bad slate. It has brought us some great memories.
Gavin Stone. We got to have the Gavin Stone conversation because he's got a great name. Awesome name. But he's not that great. He's not very good from a DFS perspective. Ks. We care about Ks. Ks are king. His strikeouts on the season, 19.1%. Now, he should get more in theory if you're a believer in the swinging strike rate. That's a 12%. So betting on that, like getting bumped up, I could see that angle. But the main reason I think why he's popular, TJ, is he's facing the White Sox, who I'm sure you've heard, they're pretty dreadful. They're putrid. They're putrid. They're not good. But is Gavin Stone good chalk? Is it bad chalk? It's shaky chalk, but something's got to be chalk. And if not him, then who? I guess Cutter Crawford? Where are we at on Gavin Stone? Of course, he's in your pool, TJ. But where do you have him as far as your current ownership?
He's reluctantly in the pool. Right now, how I have it right now, since there are only 6 pitchers, I have 40 to 50% Hayden Birdsong, And then all the other 5 in my pool are listed at 20% minimum, 30% maximum. That includes Gavin Stone.
I don't want to leave Will out, but I guess I'll set it up for the GIF. Will, what is your thoughts? Your long-winded thoughts on Gavin Stone tonight?
Well, Steve didn't give it to me, but that's okay.
3, 2, 1.
I'll allow it.
There it is.
There we go. I'll allow it.
Yeah, ownership-wise, it's on. And if we lose heel somehow,
Steve,
like Stone's going to
thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
If we lose heel, like, if Roth says we can't play it or what, it's too dicey, Stone's going to be like 40%, 45%. That ownership has to go someplace, and it's one of the first places people are going to go. Crawford as well. I guess Birdsong. Woods Richardson's throwing baseballs. Elder is throwing baseballs. Fetty, how about I bet Fetty is in TJ.
Oh, Fetty is in the pool. Fetty is for sure in the pool. Don't let me down here, TJ. I know Fetty's in the pool.
Fetty is in fact in the pool. Yes,
yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Do you want to say it with excitement that you're rostering Fetty, or just begrudgingly you're rostering
Absolutely
Fetty?
No excitement. He's facing the Dodgers. There's nothing exciting about it at all, but we're still playing him. It's still a 6-game slate. He's projecting super well in the bat. Like, he's the most low-owned pitcher according to the bat projections. And so it's not a very good Dodgers lineup. It's still the Dodgers up top. There's still Shohei Ohtani, but yeah, I got Fetty in there.
Do we have enough likes for Spidey Bombs? Dan's asking for Spidey Bombs. We got to hit that like button. We got to subscribe. We got to turn on notifications. We got to do all those things to keep the lights on for us. And again, get in really quickly, if you haven't already, into the Discord, because you got to get eligible for winning a week free of RG Premium. How do you do that? RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Jump in the live stream chat channel and just click on the avatar, because we're going to be spinning that wheel momentarily. Heel was channel caked his last 2 starts out. I don't know if it's bad things happen in threes, they say. I don't know, but we'll see. Yeah. What else is there to say as far as pitchers? Oh, is Ryan Nelson in your pool? Is Ryan Nelson?
Just wait. You asked me for Spidey Bomb number 1, and then you didn't give me a chance.
You're right.
So Spidey Bomb number 1 today is my favorite home run bet on the slate, and according to Scores and Odds, you can get him for plus 480 on FanDuel. It is Christian Walker.
It's a pretty good number. Yeah.
Batting 300 over a 300 ISO in the last 30 days to righties. Woods Richardson gives up about the same amount of hard contact to righties, a little bit more than he does lefties, but he also doesn't get as many ground balls. He gives up way more line drives to the righties. He doesn't walk as many. He throws more strikes. So all that to say, Christian Walker plus 480 on FanDuel is Spidey Bomb number 1.
Still waiting for Giants, Cubs, Twins, Cardinals, Braves as far as their lineups. Again, that Cardinals Atlanta game just finished their first game. So maybe get a little bit funky, as far as the back half of the doubleheader. Maybe some guys DH that wouldn't necessarily DH, but I'll tell you, Matt Olson's going to play because he plays every single game. They're probably going to flip catchers. Or Darno will likely be in there because I believe it was Sean Murphy was in the first game. All right. Do we knock out all 7? Is there anybody else we should mention? I did kind of float it out there that you probably have some Ryan Nelson and just sort of hope that like the BABIP gods are on his side. He can kind of eke his way to like 12 or 15 points. But yeah, what do you have here, TJ? Clean up the pitchers. Anybody we missed?
No Ryan Nelson. The Twins are my second favorite stack on the slate behind the New York Yankees today. I will not be having any Ryan Nelson. I will be stacking up against him to clean up the pitchers. We got Stone, we got Crawford, we got Birdsong, we got Fetty. Next up is Simeon Woods Richardson. He's been pitching a lot better lately, and even though I like Christian Walker to hit a home run against him, I really like Woods Richardson as a play as well. And finally, we're taking shots. Will knows it. It's 5K. Yariel Rodriguez.
I alluded to it
lately. You did. You nailed it as well. He's been terrible lately. He was really good at the start of the year. He's got pedigree. He was good elsewhere. He was good in AAA. He was good overseas. He's only 5K, and we don't like any pitchers today. And he's 3% owned, projected owned. Now, that'll probably be 6 or 7. That'll probably, especially if we lose potential pitchers in New York. But still, I think that's too low owned for people to not want to take shots on a 5K pitcher.
Trying to see if there's anything else as far as pitchers in the chat, but I think we kind of covered it as best we could. It's all sorts of nonsense. JD Davis is hitting cleanup for the Yankees today, which is, again, kind of strange with some weird cleanup hitters. We talked about Jason Hayward earlier. What year is it with those guys hitting cleanup? It is a revenge game for JD Davis. Did he get his revenge last night? I didn't see what he did. I don't know if he did anything or not, but no revenge. There you go. Well, now he's due. He's vengeful, and he's due. We should go ahead and, Will, you know what? We're not going to get your takes as far as pitchers, but we are going to get your takes as far as props. Producer Steve is going to play that video right now.
What is going on, Grinders? It's Chief. It's Boom Fantasy, and it's MLB, folks. And we've got 2 props on the docket. First up on the docket, we've got Grayson Rodriguez. He's facing the Cleveland Guardians, folks. We want less than that particular projection. Grayson Rodriguez has been good this season, but we've seen the Cleveland Guardians be able to limit strikeouts. Also, we've got Sean Manaea. This didn't work out yesterday with Mr. Peterson, but that's okay. They ran the pitch, got up on him. Peterson got out of some jams. He's at 5 strikeouts. We want to take the unders or less than these particular projections. All right, folks, you know what it's time for. Let's spin and win. All right, it looks like we've got ourselves another 3.5x possibility here. Hopefully one day, folks, we can get that 500x. And if you want to put a little bit more boom into your fantasy, use the promo code GRINDERS. Get up to a 100% deposit match in the form of a free entry. And we'll see you back here later next week.
Well, keep on spinning that video. Keep on spinning the wheel until you get the 500x, and then keep that portion. Can't we rig it that way? Or we can't do that. This doesn't work that way.
Yeah, but we could, but then the video would be longer than the short, and I may actually run out of money. So, for all intents and purposes of the video, we're doing $5 there. One day though, Dean, hopefully we'll hit a 10x or something. That would be pretty sweet. And then another thing, folks, I know we've got, Manaea under 5. I know we're talking about the weather. I invite bad weather into that game, Dean. Manaea comes out and pitches 3 innings and picks up 2 strikeouts, and then they resume later. He doesn't come back. We win the prop anyway. So I'm perfectly fine with continuing to roll that one out.
I don't remember where Roth was talking about it. I think it was in a tweet, but I think it was talking about a live game where basically he's like, yeah, the weather is coming in 5 or 10 minutes. This is going to be a disaster. And you could still bet the under on total strikeouts for pitchers if your book allows that. Maybe tonight we'll have that situation for New York and San Diego where you can live bet unders on pitchers when the weather is pending, and Roth is just sharper than the books. It was in Slack. Alex was telling us. Yeah, I know I saw that note somewhere. I'm like, yeah, that seems like a really valuable information potentially if you know exactly when that's going down. Okay, let's see if we can get. We're not going to get a 100x or 500x or 3.5x. We're going to get some name though that gets a RG premium a week. Let's go ahead and spin that wheel, Steve.
If you guys get those likes up quick, we'll do too. We got to hit 100.
Woo!
I got the music.
Game 347.
Game time.
Yeah, I mean, clutch.
Him. Now shuffle it up.
Did we get a bump? How big was the bump?
Guys.
Only 2 people hit the like button. I don't know what's going on right now. 500 people watching on YouTube. Come on, guys. It's easy to do, and you get free home run picks. You get free RG premium, and all you got to do is click a button. Come on.
All right.
It's your call, Steve.
Yeah, no, we got it. Shuffling it up. Here's one.
Hey. Listen, that's all you got to do to make a hot track these days.
The guy who likes to chat every day in the Discord, Bill T. Congratulations.
Bill
There
T.
you go. Shout out to Bill
Congrats,
T.
brother.
All right. Going to open the board as far as tiers in a second. I'm not going to tell you who made these tiers today. But TJ, do you want to explain what is the category? And maybe the people can figure out who actually made the tiers. The category here is go ahead. You go ahead. It's your deal.
First things first is Spidey Bomb number 2 today. And so we are going lefty in that matchup against Sean Manaea, plus 375 for Juan Soto to hit a home run today. He is Spidey Bomb number 2 to go along with Christian Walker. We will get the third Spidey Bomb at 150 likes. That's less than half the people watching. Should be easy to get there. So keep smashing that like button. I gave Dean 3 options today for tiers. I showed him the list and I let him choose his favorite. This was his favorite. This is the one he chose. This was the one that I believe his exact words were the most accurate list. So this is the one I think we should go with. Steve, why don't you fire it up for us? So this is our tiers for today's stacks. And it's best tier makers. So who is the best at making tiers among the RotoGrinders show members? And so people who frequent Grinders Live, people who are on Grinders Live a lot and who are here making tiers. And so this is the list. We got TJ up top because I'm like Dean is the one who approved these. So he's the one who I'd say it's his opinion more than mine.
You don't even abide by the rules.
We got Dean up top. We got TJ up top. He's number 1. Number 2, we got our guy Kirk Dees, Chris Kirkwood, Jug Nation, Tim in the 3rd spot because Tim is always good just for like a solid list. You know, you're never going to get a top tier like this amazing list from Tim, but he's never giving you a bad one. Never, ever. You can always rely on Tim to give you a good list. Keith has now this is because this is
never made a list.
It's Dean's show, right? So I like to abide by Dean's rules where he has someone who's not great in 4th and then someone who's terrible in 5th. I usually like to give 1 to 4 all good, right? But Dean likes to go someone not good in 4 and terrible in 5. And so since Keith has never even offered to make a list, he is on Grinders Live often. He is in 4th. And then we all know why Dean last on the list.
Have you heard like the Canadians are supposed to be nice? Have you heard that stereotype? All stereotypes have are broken. And this is what's happening right here on air. TJ, I've had great experience with Canadians, but I don't know. You've chosen violence. I will get you back somehow in the future. But I
believe it. and frankly, I deserve it.
Will's right here. You didn't acknowledge Will.
You deserve it.
I've never actually seen one of Will's lists before, and so that's why I for the bit I knew I wanted this top 3, and I didn't want to besmirch Will by having him in 4th. And
you want to besmirch Keith?
Well, Keith has never made a damn list. Come on, Keith, make a list.
He can take up a besmirching, is what I'm hearing. All right.
Plus, he's not here, right? So.
He might be lurking. He's not actually on the show, but it's possible he's lurking, doing projections or something and making some lineups, something of the sorts. We do have Dave Potts and SquirrelPatrol and Kevin Roth coming in about 20-ish minutes or so. First game we're going to talk about. TJ, since you made the board, you get to go first. And lucky you get to talk about the Blue Jays. Yariel Rodriguez against Cutter Crawford, almost a 10 total. It's a 9.5 total. Boston, pretty heavy favorite, minus 156. Boston team total above 5, which is I don't think there's any other team on this slate that has a team total above 5. Yeah, they have the highest team total on the board. But you tell me. I know you have shares of both these pitchers, and there is Keith. Keith is hanging out. Keith is lurking. So Keith is responding. He says Dean can take the top stacks, expert survey, value rankings, or lineup HQ tags me Monday, and I'll make a list. Well, okay. Well,
and he can also join the projections team.
Yeah.
Look, you know what? My projections.
Keith, as someone who is freelance and gets paid the more work that he does, you can give me all of those things on Monday if you want to make a list.
I'll do expert rankings because I do those every day anyway. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the Blue Jays and the Red Sox TJ, the board is yours. Is producer Steve correct? He's already projected where you're going to go.
He's close. I think the Blue Jays stay in Tim for me, and I may be.
I'm gonna have to veto this early, TJ. I know I cut you off. We gotta leave the Sox in Kirkwood like that. It's just destiny, right? It's just destiny. We're
not putting the Blue Jays in TJ.
Well, are we putting the Blue Jays in TJ then? Are we putting the Blue Jays up to TJ?
Absolutely. That's exactly.
You got to respect the game. Now we're just playing to the gimmicks.
What's happening here?
Well, respect the game. I got the Blue Jays and Tim because even though they got probably the toughest matchup on the board, you got leverage against Crawford, and they've been hot. They're finally playing some good baseball lately, at least from the hitting standpoint. Vlad Jr. is getting the ball off the ground. He's continuously hitting it hard like he's done all year, but this time the ball's actually going off the ground as well. They're facing a fly ball pitcher. I like them tonight. And then I will, unfortunately, not be able to keep the Red Sox in Kirkwood. I got to bump them up to TJ because I think they're probably the top stacker on the slate going up against Yariel Rodriguez. I do have Rodriguez in the pool. I like him today, but I think the Red Sox are a top, at worst, 3 stack on the board, but arguably 1.
Will?
Agreed.
You will allow it. We're good with this board. Yeah, I mean, Boston, I think, has to be up top.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
Can I just why does Rafael Devers bat 4th behind David Hamilton and Willie Ibar? Willie Abreu? Like, what is that? Why? And it's not even a left right thing because it's left. Somebody explain that? Anybody?
I don't know.
They know that Rafael Devers is going to hit a home run, so they want to have as many guys on base as possible.
Okay, but what about?
I don't agree with it, but that is like quite literally, I think the rationale is we need our best power hitter at 4, even though like there's teams like the Phillies, they got Schwarber at 1, even though he's their best power hitter and strikes out an absolute ton. I think that is essentially their mindset.
I was told the Dodgers shouldn't be batting Ohtani first either. And he's been crushing, it's a solo home run. That's terrible. And, it's only for the first time around anyway. And he gets more bats. We can have that conversation with our day, but I just don't understand that lineup. But I do like Boston a good bit. They probably are the top stack on the board. Battle of New York. Will, this is yours. 8.5 is the total. Weather potentially dicey. It seems like they're going to play all 9, according to Roth. And Roth will come in and confirm, deny, give you the update. But there is a pending delay at some point, most likely. Heel, Manaea, 8.5 total. Yankees have a 4.3 total, a little bit bigger than the Mets. The Mets do have the power of Grimace. Where are you at here, Will? Battle New York. Where are we at? Where we go?
I'm slightly in agreement here with our producer, except I'm going to move the Mets down to Keith. I know we think Heel has been, getting shellacked, and he has, but the Mets, man. The Mets are like the Blue Jays to me. Every time I play them, they disappoint. Except last night, guess what? I did not play them. So there you have it. But I definitely think the Yankees should be second. Not that Sean Manaea hasn't been good this season, but I do think the Yankees are a really good offense, a really low strikeout offense as well, Dean. And that's with now look, he's not batting tonight. Don't get me wrong. But that's been with Mr. Stanton in the lineup most of the season. So I like the Yankees. I know the ballpark isn't great, but it's still fairly warm there. Wind blowing out, I think, a little bit to left field, if I'm not mistaken. So I really like that. And I could be wrong about left field, but I do like the Yankees tonight and want to play them against Mr. Manaea.
TJ?
I actually would probably want to bump both of these teams up a tier. The Yankees are my personal top stack on the board. I got them number 1, and then the Mets, I would borderline put them in Kirkwood, if I'm being honest, just because I really like going against the chalky Heald today. But I'd be definitely fine with them and Tim.
All right, then we will keep them where we're at. By the way, I did go ahead and take a peek. The Will was correct. 38-game sample in for the Mets, similar weather, 85 degrees, 12 miles per hour wind, basically out the left center, bumping homers at 17%, bumping runs at 18%. So not the best ballpark, but it is getting a bit of a bump. A lot of power there for the Mets, and I feel they're going to be, I don't want to say sneaky, but Heel's one of the better pitchers. He's probably not going to get picked on, but he allows fly balls and he walks a lot of guys. So, and the Mets do have power. And when they get the hold of it, it doesn't matter what ballpark they're in. So I think the Mets are going to be one of my top stacks. Okay. By the way, you should say, to be clear, you weren't like insulting Keith. Keith does a fabulous job. He does a spectacular job. And that wasn't like shots fired, right?
That was just completely joking shots fired.
Yeah.
Like I knew Keith wouldn't actually be upset about that. And so that was a fun little bit. But no, Keith works so wildly, incredibly hard. So that was no shade to him whatsoever.
Yeah, I just wanted to obviously he does a spectacular job. Just got Braves Cardinals. This is perfect because we're going to talk about the game now, TJ. Braves lineup just dropped. Kelnick, Albies, Azuna, Olsen, Riley, d'Arnaud as expected. Duvall, Loreno, and Williams is playing shortstop. So that's different, I believe, from game one. Wynn, Burleson, Contreras, Goldie, Donovan, Arenado, Gorman, Pajes, and Ciani. So Contreras is DHing, though. So we got Contreras at the DH for St. Louis. Your thoughts as far as Atlanta and the Cardinals?
Probably both in the Tim tier for me. Maybe it's just because the lineups are coming out so late. It's because it's a doubleheader, but for some reason, I just don't feel like I have a lot of interest in this game. It's like a good matchup against Liberatore, but I don't know how long he's going to be in there. I think I actually like the Cardinals a little bit better than the Braves in this spot, but they're both just a mid-tier stack for me today.
Will, your Braves?
Braves for me going Kirkwood. St. Louis stays where they are, but
I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, we're close.
I will break the tie, and yes, I will agree. Braves go to Kirkwood. Dodgers, White Sox, Gavin Stone, Eric Fetty, 8.5 total. Dodgers minus 170 favorite. Will, it's your board. Where do you have the Dodgers and the White Sox?
Yeah, Dodgers mid, White Sox Keith. I agree with our producer here. I'm close to putting the White Sox in the Dean category, but I don't trust Gavin Stone enough. So there you have it. I think these rankings are really good. I think the Dodgers probably would have been a lot higher up if they had their full lineup with Will Smith and Muncy and Betts. Like if that was the case, obviously they'd be higher up. But missing those pieces is definitely watered down this lineup, and so I can't in good conscience put them up against my good KBO brother Eric Fetty.
We have Dodgers in the middle, hanging out with Tim. Nobody wants to play with me, TJ. White Sox are hanging out with Keith. Do you agree? Anything you want to move here?
Basically, no. I think that's the same with me. I would maybe drop the Sox to Dean instead, but I am fine with them and Keith just because you do get the leverage against Stone.
I don't want the stench of the White Sox. I'm not going to allow the drop. I don't want. Yeah. I want to be alone.
I would have had the White Sox in the Dean category, but I don't trust Gavin Stone enough. Like that's really what this comes down to. Yeah. I don't think he throws shutout baseball tonight.
If Gavin Stone was going to be 12% owned, I would be playing no White Sox. But just because the fact that everybody else is, I don't mind getting at them.
Cheap White Sox stack.
It's like Will said, I don't trust them either.
If you were to make like a 3-man White Sox stack, TJ, who would it be? It's like the obvious ones.
Yeah, Robert Sheets Vaughn.
Yeah, DeYoung, I don't mind either. He's got some
or
power.
DeYoung, yeah, or DeYoung.
But like never really play Nicky Lopez. Benintendi, not a ton of power. I know he homered the other day.
I think Nicky Lopez is the one player on this slate that I X'd out of my lineup.
Like, and if he didn't, if he didn't X him out, you would have put only in stacks, I assume, right?
I put most players only in stacks. Like
interesting.
Like Ohtani, Judge, Royce Lewis, Freeman, Devers, Duran, Hernandez, Albies, Christian Walker, Jock Peterson, Brandon Nimmo, Alec Burleson, Brendan Donovan, Francisco Alvarez, Jason Hayward, Adam Duvall, JD Davis. That's it. Those are my only players I won't play in a stack.
So everybody else is in a stack. That's what I figured you were doing. Like Bellinger, you wouldn't play as a one-off?
Not
to like, well, actually, you. I'm trying to think of a name like Yeah.
No, because I would rather play Freeman at first base or Ozuna or Duran in the outfield.
Joseph's got a tough question. Who wants to answer this one? Ohtani or Judge as a one-off? I don't know. I think Ohtani. I would probably go Judge, but like there's no wrong answer. Oh.
Judge in like large field tournaments because he's going to be lower owned, but otherwise Ohtani. Like just for raw points, I think it's Ohtani.
We'll have time for questions, by the way. About 10 minutes until crunch time comes in. You get Dave Potts, you get SquirrelPatrol, you get Kevin Roth. Andrew's saying both, but we do live in the world of a salary cap, and it's really, I guess you could make those. That's the kind of thing you can do on FanDuel, by the way. If you're playing Hayden Birdsong, because he's like 5'5", you can play both and have a good time and have some other big bats as well. All right, 2 more games. Again, start loading up some questions in chat.
Have a good time. It's all right. See, old school, Dean, old school.
Was that the OJs? Who was that? I don't know who that was. Should I know who that was? Voice the man?
You should, Dean.
Give me a multiple guess. Does TJ know who that was? I need a couple more bars.
I missed it. My first set of lineups came in, so I was looking at my exposures.
Well, that's a likely story. How convenient.
It's true.
Minnesota and Arizona, Ryan Nelson, Simone Woods, Richardson. I'm being told, chat, that it was Curtis Mayfield. Can you confirm Curtis Mayfield? Will?
The
Impressions?
Yes.
Was he in the Impressions?
The Impressions. That was the group. That was the group.
Okay. Was Mayfield in the Impressions? I thought he was a solo guy. All right. Never mind. Big gulps, huh?
No.
All right.
No. Curtis Mayfield. Oh, sorry, Dean. I thought you were like kidding around. I didn't realize.
No, I didn't know.
Actual. So the group is the Impressions, and Curtis Mayfield was the lead singer of the Impressions during that recording. Sorry, I really thought you were kidding. My bad.
No, I genuinely didn't know.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for clarifying. Will, the board is yours. Minnesota, Arizona, 9 total. Minnesota slight favorite here, minus 124 in Phoenix.
So for me, man, Minnesota's going to the TJ tier. This is one of my favorite stacks today. I don't trust Ryan Nelson as far as I can throw him. And then in terms of the Arizona Diamondbacks, they're going in the Kirkwood tier for me. Simeon Woods Richardson has had some interesting starts, but if there was one game stack on tap for me tonight, if I was going to take part in it, it would definitely be this game. Really like this game, both sides.
You a game stack guy?
What's that?
You let game stack? Is that typically something you do, or just has to happen like organically?
No, it happens organically. So listen,
TJ.
So Ekim Notlo says Chief doesn't know, he just knew the lyrics. Here's the deal, buddy. Let me go ahead and shut that down right now. Like my whole life is built around music. Like if you didn't know that, like literally, I went to college to study music. So before you throw that out there, like get your facts straight, buddy. All right. Now that that's over with, back to our regularly scheduled programs. Like I literally listen to music all day, like probably stuff you don't have no clue that I would listen to. So
I needed like the sheet. Was it Shazam? I needed some Shazam on that one. All right. TJ, Minnesota all the way up top hanging out with you. And Arizona with Kirkwood.
I agree with the Twins up top. I love them today. I would actually drop Arizona down to the Keith tier. I do not have much Arizona at all today. I like Woods Richardson. I like them a lot as a mini stack. You know, I like Peterson and I like Christian Walker, the Spidey Bomb. Speaking of, how many likes are we at? We are at 164. So we do have enough for the next Spidey Bomb. And it is, in fact, let's see what his odds are at Squirrels and odds. Alec Burleson at plus 700 on DraftKings going up against Bryce Elder today. So Alec Burleson, Spidey Bomb number 3. I do, in fact, have one more, a fourth one if we get up to 200 likes. So keep smashing that like button. But yeah, I don't really like Arizona today as a full stack. I would drop them to Keith, but I agree. Twins are one of my top stacks on the boards.
Let's compromise and throw them in the middle with Tim. Let's go ahead and throw Arizona in the middle with Tim. One more game. It's the Cubs and the Giants. I see some questions loading up as well. I'm being told that Judge has BBP against Manaea. 5 for 12 with 2 homers. Okay. I mean, it makes sense. The power righty versus Manaea could be trouble for sure. The battle of the Haydens. This is yours, TJ. Wisniewski for the Cubbies. Bird Song for the Giants, 7.5 total. That's where we're at. 7.5 total. Giants are favored against the Cubs. No Cubs lineup just yet. We just got the Giants. Wisely, Ramos, Chapman, Bailey, Soler, Estrada, Conforto, VR, and Matos. TJ, where do we have the Cubs and the Giants? I think this game's going to be pretty neglected, even though it's a 6-gamer.
Giants are in the Dean tier for me today. Terrible ballpark. They're going up against a bullpen team, and they have a bullpen game, and they have not been good. Cubs, I would keep in the Tim tier. It's just such an unknown they're facing in Birdsong. He's probably going to be decent, but we don't know that for sure. He's still a rookie. And so the Cubs are a good enough lineup that they can light anybody up. I don't like the ballpark, though. That is what is keeping them from being higher.
Will?
I think Birdsong is getting a little bit too much ownership today. I can't put the Giants in the Dean category. I think they move up to a key category. And then I agree with the Cubs, putting them definitely in the middle.
Yeah, I was correct, by the way. Birdsong just got bumped to AAA. 9 innings in AAA. He was just promoted, and due to injuries, he got promoted again to the majors. But we've seen a lot of strikeouts out of him, and that K's are king. I think he's really interesting on FanDuel. I know we're not talking pitchers right now, but just want to reiterate. It's just we don't know. You never really know what you're going to get. I mean, I will confess I've never heard of. I'll tell you, I've never heard of Hayden Birdsong before today.
I've been a big Birdsong fan my whole life. Never heard a Birdsong I didn't like.
We got to do Hayden power rankings tomorrow. Wisniewski, Birdsong, Christensen.
Christensen's got to be one.
Because of Star Wars, right? Is that where he's known for?
I mean, he's done other things too, but that's obviously number one. But he's also just an awesome person.
I don't know much about him. I'll be honest. Is there any other Haydens that exist that we're aware of? I'm not sure. Got to do a Google search on that one. But all right. Is this our board? It's officially done. TJ, we have Boston, the Yankees, and Minnesota. Kind of surprised they stuck in all the way up top, but that's how it works out. Kirkwood's hanging out with the Diamondbacks and the Braves in tier 2.
Oh, Hayden Panettiere, nice.
That's a reality
person,
person, right?
No, she's an actress. She's an actor. We were thinking male Haydens, but female Hayden. I Love You, Beth Cooper.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
That's her.
Okay. Same spelling? Might be different. Spelling matters. Spelling is important.
No, same spelling.
Okay. Tim has Toronto, the Mets, St. Louis, the Dodgers, and the Cubs. Keith hanging out with the White Sox, and I'm hanging out with the Giants. All right. Let me scroll back up. I saw some questions popping up here in chat.
But while we're doing that, Dean, I'm wondering if I haven't told the people this before. I wonder if they can guess my favorite music artist. And it's not anything from this generation. So
Curtis Mayfield.
I can just go ahead and put that out there. No, not Curtis Mayfield.
You big bot guy?
I kind of hated music history. When I was in school, like it was an 8:00 class, and I had to get up, and my professor, Dr. Keith, would she'd be playing that because that was part of our music history class. So somebody said Big Pun, no. Smokey Robinson, like Smokey Robinson, like Stevie Wonder. We're getting much closer. We're getting closer. I'm saying closer. We're starting to move back. So yeah,
Sam Cooke.
Are we in like the 30s and the 40s? Where are we at? Give me a wheelhouse.
Let's go. Okay, Prince is good. It's not Prince. It's not Marvin Gaye. But these are James Brown. Yes, my boy Tug. That's my favorite musical artist. It is JB. Love James Brown. Good guess. Good guess, Tug. That's a good one.
He was great in Rocky IV.
Oh, yeah. I'm living in America. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, JB
hardest working man in show business.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like now the chat has a bunch of like musicians, and I missed all the questions. It just sort of happens sometimes. I know Crunch Time is knocking on the door. They'll be here shortly, but if we have a couple to knock out Alan wants to know, this will be for TJ. Another tough question. I'm glad I don't have to answer. Royce Lewis or Devers tonight?
Oof, Devers.
Yeah, they're both really, really good. Like whichever one's in your stack, right? Were you King wants to know if you're an instrumental major or a vocal major?
Instrumental.
Drums, right?
Yeah, percussion pedagogy. I play piano. I play drums. I can still play French horn trumpet pretty well. My weak instrument was, and I know some people argue, strings are piano, but my weak instrument was strings. I couldn't do it, man. Cello, violin, those all sucked for me. I passed my string pedagogy class, but in terms of like actually mastering it, nowhere close. It was awful.
Did you find bass guitar easier?
Nope. My dad plays guitar, and I thought like, okay, yeah, I can play some guitar. Nope, not my calling, man.
I play bass. I play bass, but I always had a way tougher time with like a 6-string guitar just because my fingers are so stubby.
Yeah.
Do you slap the bass?
No, I never learned how to do that.
But
it is,
that's what you're supposed
I know
to do.
it is really cool though, and I wish I could because it's really cool. But
King of all trades is KK Side. Shout out my brother. I did join Alpha Phi Alpha, but KK Side, that's the music fraternity. So the guys at South Carolina State were all KK Side. A lot of those guys are my friends. So yeah, man, that's pretty cool, brother. Pretty cool.
Will, if you want to collaborate with something, thank you, producer Steve, right on top of it. If you want to collaborate with somebody, I might have somebody for you if and when we ever have another RG party. Crunch Time's coming in. We have Dave Potts. We have Squirrel Patrol. We have Kevin Roth. Let's bring him in. Dave, when are we getting the duet? Yourself and Will. When are you guys gonna
wanted to, but this is the first I've ever heard that he could even noodle around a little bit on French horn. I think we need some French horn for sure in a collaboration. That brings it to a whole nother level that I didn't even know was possible until just now.
Listen, French horn mellow. I actually had fun playing French horn / mellophone. That's actually one of my favorite instruments. Once I got into it.
People assume I'm joking. I actually think the French horn is actually kind of amazing, but we do need TJ to slap at the bass a little bit. So we have to figure that out.
I play bass. I play bass, piano, saxophone, and I sing.
Squirrel, what are you gonna play?
I play just DFS. That's it.
Can you bang a triangle? Can you shake a maraca?
Is that some kind of lineup construction? I don't know.
Roth, you like me? I'm not musically inclined either. And I feel like it's too late at this point.
I'm mean on the cowbell, but that's about it.
Yeah?
That's all I got.
How was the last 3-4 hours for you, Roth? Anything eventful?
Yeah, every freaking game is eventful, Dean. It's been stressful. It's been terrible, and I hate it. That's how it's been.
Somebody just said in chat, like, how are you reacting to the new Roth bomb? Was there new Roth news, or was this like Roth news like 15 minutes ago that we've already discussed?
No, I think it was just 15 minutes ago that you've probably.
No, we have not discussed your latest tweet on the show.
Oh, what did I tweet? What did I say?
A lot of questions about delayed timing in New York. As of now, I think the most likely time would be between 8:30 and 9:30. Worth noting, it's not impossible something pops out ahead of that line, and if it happens in the wrong spot, a delay could come earlier. If you want 5+ innings and are okay with eating some risk, I think pitchers are fine gamble to take, and it likely works out. If there's an easy pivot somewhere else with lower risk, I'd certainly prefer that option.
That's a whole novel I wrote there. But yes, I
stand by those back to the Knicks. OG back to the Knicks. 5-year, $212 million. The Knicks are about to be the best defensive team in basketball. Oh my God!
Wow.
Like, is anybody going to score on the Knicks? I'm partially kidding, but like, they're going to be a really good defensive team. Jeez.
Go New York, go New York.
Man, shout out to OG. My guy OG getting over $40 million a year. Good for him.
Anybody have any draft hot takes tonight? Who are we rooting for, Squirrel? Who's Washington getting? I'm assuming you have a top 6 pick or something?
Yeah, they're number 2, and I think they're going to get Sarr, the French.
Yeah,
they're going to get a French guy for the second year in a row.
Ooh, a French guy.
Yes, Sarr for sure.
Go get him.
He's actually like considered, I think, one of the top. Well, he's one of the top 2, but like a lot of mocks had him as number 1, and he refused to work out for Atlanta, who has the first pick. So kind of, something going Washington's way. We'll see. My guess is Washington's going to draft him, and his knees just explode immediately. The way it goes for the Wizards over the last 45 or 50 years.
Well, how about
nothing
Charlotte?
went the
You got to have
Hornets'
a
way. I don't
top
care
pick,
who
right?
they draft. We were supposed to have the number 1 pick, and somehow Atlanta ended up with, the most improbable draft slot in freaking the whole draft. So we're I think they're going to take this guy from the G League. What is his name? It's slipping from me right now, but I think they're going to take a guy from G League Ignite. But at any rate, man, I don't care. Like, the Hornets have been in purgatory. It's awful.
Yeah, who's taking LeBron's kid? Like that just it's a power move, right? Because there's maybe LeBron would follow him, probably not, but no, he's gonna get drafted day 2 tonight.
It's a 2-day draft now. It's like the first 2 days.
Yeah, they said 2 days. If he's going to the Lakers, he'll go 55. That's the prediction.
You absolutely should draft him at the end of the first round and then get LeBron. Like, that's just what you should do. I'm certain that is what you should do.
Or if you're the Hornets, like, at least be interesting. You're going to be terrible either way, but at least be interesting and have LeBron's kid. Like, you
and
can sell
probably LeBron
that way. Yeah,
like,
LeBron
and
wants
maybe
to
play with his son.
I just
theoretically,
I don't think that's the way it works. Like, I don't think the NBA like works on like relationships and agents, and like, you're just gonna piss a team. You're gonna piss off LeBron James and his agent if you do that, which is probably a bad spot to be in.
But the hit rate for second round picks is terrible in the NBA.
Right.
They're all throwaways anyway. So why not have a little bit of fun?
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm really curious. I think it was 39.5 is the over under as far as where he gets drafted. So I saw that number being thrown out there. I'm curious where.
Hey, I agree with my boy Eckham. I agree with him, despite our disagreement here earlier. He said the Lakers draft him so they won't make LeBron mad or sad for the last year of his career. Might not be his last year, but I definitely think if anybody's going to take him in second round, it's the Lakers.
Also, a reminder that Nikola Jokic was drafted in the second round.
Well, yeah, there are outliers, sure. Like Tom Brady was a 6th round draft pick. Maybe we could do this.
I'm signing off so David and Roth can talk baseball and score.
All right. I'm signing
I'm
off
actually
as well.
taking a nap right now, so you guys keep going. Just let me know. Flip it back on.
That was Will. That was DJ. I was Dean. Let's hear what Roth has to say as far as weather. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. Back at it again with a little crunch time action. Rejoined by Squirrel. We were hanging out like 4 hours ago. What's up, man? How are you?
Good. It's like a really similar slate to the early slate. It's almost eerie, and like there's one of the same games. So yeah. Good to see you again.
So good to see you as well. Do I take from that pitching is kind of crappy and that you can play a whole bunch of stacks and they're all pretty good?
Yeah. You can kind of make an argument for anything. It's like a smallish kind of slate. And pitching it's just tough.
Okay, good. Well, we've got Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood in the house helping to figure out that pitching. What up, Cheese?
Not too much. Yeah, I'm thrilled I didn't have to talk about this slate twice today. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it. I was busy chasing flies around. Last time we were on with Squirrel, I had like a literal squirrel. This time I got flies all over the house. Nobody knows where they came from, but I've been actually vacuuming them up. It's the easiest way to get them.
Are these like house flies,
Probably
the big ones, or are these little gnats that are like getting in?
They're just regular old everyday house flies.
Yeah. Have you checked your attic? Do you have an attic?
Do you have an attic? There are no flies up there.
Okay. All right. Because one time I was getting flies all in my house and I was like, where the hell is this coming from? And then I went in the attic and there was a dead something that the flies had been, it was pretty nasty. But anyways, I'm glad that's not the case. That's excellent. Good luck. Have fun. They have all kinds of cool, they have like games now. You can like shoot them. You can hit them with electric zappers. Like it can really be entertainment killing flies, Cheese. So I think you're going to make them.
Yeah. Oh, I'm having like an absolute blast with a vacuum cleaner. I really am.
It sounds like a good time. Yeah. The fly thing happens to me at the beginning of every summer. You can catch flies with honey, but you catch honeys, but you can catch honeys being fly.
I've done both.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Let's discuss this slate, starting with weather. Baltimore not on the slate. Nobody cares. Correct. Yeah. Okay. That's a bummer because that's the one I feel best about. We'll go to Boston. It is closer than I think people might realize, and there's still a chance something goes horribly wrong in Boston. All it would take are these little storms south of Boston to start building north, but I don't think they're going to. And I think they're going to play through some light rain, if anything, in Boston. And then a line of storms moves in after the game that is of no concern. If that line of storms south of Boston does impact them, then we could have some legit issues in Boston. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. So I think you just kind of you do what you're planning on doing. New York, I think a delay is pretty likely in New York. Middle of game to later innings. I know apparently do people want pitchers because they want the most dangerous thing you could possibly get? Cheese, do we want pitchers there?
Yeah, like the highest price, highest upside pitcher is in that game. I'm not sure that he's like the chalk, but
yeah.
he like, I mean, yes, we need pitchers to know. I mean, we're definitely playing pitchers in that game at some point.
Yeah. That's frustrating because it is almost the only thing you could do that I wouldn't recommend. But at the same time, I think the likely outcome is you get 6 or 7 innings before a delay happens. And then you're like, all right, that probably works out for you.
If you get 6 innings, it's fine. And are you still saying the game will continue after that?
I think so. Yeah, I still think the game will finish after that. The issue is that none of that is set in stone, right? Like me saying you'll probably get in the 6th or 7th inning before a delay. Like that's not a lock. Will the game finish after that? That's not a lock either. That's what I think, but those are not locks. So if you want a stress-free night, that's the spot to avoid. In particular, as it pertains to pitchers, I think with hitters, you're probably okay. So that's where I'm at. I'm not telling anybody not to do it. In fact, I guess I'll say, all right, it'll probably work out for you. But man, if there's an easy pivot and you like something else with no risk, please, dear God, do that instead. So that's where I'm at with weather. I will give another update if I think anything has changed, but that's where I stand. With that, Cheese, tell me a little bit about this slate.
Yeah, so the first thing to note, the Braves-Cardinals game is on the DK slate, but not on the FanDuel slate. So that's a little different. But including that game, so for all 6 games, to me, there's only 2 pitchers on the whole slate that I don't think are really in play. So there's 10 viable pitchers and 12 viable offenses.
Wow.
Like, that's just what it is. The 2 pitchers I don't think you can play are Hayden Wesneski and Matthew Liberatore. Just like not just not being good, but pitch count wise, like they're more like 4-inning guys. Really, I think you can make case for and Yuriel Rodriguez. Sorry, so 3 pitchers I don't think you can play. Personally, I have a silly, super uncomfortable amount of Hayden Birdsong, just because I think his name is awesome. I'm not sure if he's good, but I'm sure his name is awesome.
Was his name Birdsong?
Yeah. I mean, you want to play that guy, right?
Yeah, you cut out. But if his name was Birdsong, I do want to play that guy.
Yeah, that was a bird song right there. Yeah, so honestly, he looks a lot like Luis Heel, who's the high-priced upside pitcher in New York we were talking about. Look at his minor league numbers. He's a guy with a lot of strikeout ability and sketchy control, which is exactly what you're getting out of Luis Heel for, 4,000 more, 3,000 more on DraftKings and like 5,000 more on FanDuel. It's just, we don't know. Like, this is his first start. We have no idea what we're getting, but I like it. I think it's worth the shot on this kind of slate where the pitching's not good. Outside of that, like, I don't even know what to say. I guess Luis Heel is the best play, and I wouldn't worry about the weather risk. Like, he's definitely the highest upside play. Like, he's the only pitcher outside of maybe Birdsong who has like actual strikeout ability. So if you have salary just sitting around, I would play Heel rather than leaving salary on the table. But I don't really like him for the salary.
Geez, we don't even like the guy that we want to play in New York. We don't even freaking like the guy.
Correct. But he is the only guy with like a semi-legitimate chance for like a 10 strikeout game. Everyone else, like, you're hoping, maybe I get 5 strikeouts out of this.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's almost like okay, if he goes 4 innings, it's probably fine, even at $10,000, because that's how bad the pitching slate is.
Right. And he's getting that.
But
you know.
yeah, but officially I am underweight on him because there's expensive bats that I want to play. That's why I'm playing Birdsong. I don't have any Sean Manaea. He's the other pitch in the New York game. And I don't have any Eric Fetty, but both those guys are fine. Bryce Elder, I also don't have any of. And on DK, I think he's fine. There's even a chance he got sent back to the minors and all of a sudden started striking everybody out. It was minor league batters. But he's fine. Personally, I'm playing Cutter Crawford second most after Birdsong, Gavin Stone third. And then on DraftKings, where Birdsong is not like super cheap, I have some Ryan Nelson and Simeon Woods Richardson. Neither of these guys are good. They're just cheap, and you just hope to get lucky with BABIP. So like Ryan Nelson for 5,500, if he puts up like a 0, I don't know, that's probably fine. And he does have quality start upside just based on the fact that he can go out and throw strikes. Like that's what he does, and we've seen it recently. That's it. I know I'm not really saying anything. I'm playing Birdsong most, Crawford second, Stone third, probably Heel fourth, and then on DraftKings, Nelson would be next just because of the salary.
Okay, great. I got to work the mute button hard with some toddler meltdowns going on just outside here. But Squirrel, it seems like you got a lot of options here. Where are you finding your ownership kind of congregating?
It's super spread out. I was actually going to say regarding the weather that there might even be like some relief for you in the weather, because like even if we want pitchers in a certain game, like anybody on the slate could get a negative score in terms of pitchers. So like if you put a pitcher in and like the rain comes and like, oh my God, we just got 3 innings out of the guy, that still might be competitive on the slate. I actually like the pitchers in New York, like both of them. I've got some like Sean Manaea and Luis Heel. I really liked Hayden Birdsong on both FanDuel and DraftKings. He's like ridiculously cheap on FanDuel. He's still pretty cheap on DraftKings to the point where he lets you do what you want with your lineups. I'm a little bit concerned he's actually going to see much higher ownership than I originally thought, just because like there's just nowhere to go on the slate, and so he's in a great pitching park. He's got good minor league numbers, but he's like probably not at all ready for the major leagues. Like I think coming into the season, he was like one of their top prospects. He was like up there, but he wasn't like first, second, third, fourth, So yeah, I'm spreading out as much as possible. It's a great slate for multi-entry because you just play whatever stacks you want and whatever pitches you want.
Okay, very good. Let's talk about some of those stacks that you want, and you can lead us off in that department.
Sure. So the 2 stacks that I like, and like the game that I think I like the most, are the Boston-Toronto game. It's not a huge surprise. It's got the highest total. And so, yeah, it's a great hitters park in Fenway Park. I think the weather is showing even a slight bump to hitters, nothing dramatic, but single digit boost to home runs and runs, I think. So I like, both Boston and Toronto. I think if I had to choose one, I'm probably choosing Boston over Toronto, which is not always the case because I usually like the road team. Other stacks, I like the Yankees. It's like I think they're not going to see that much ownership because they're in a good pitcher's park. But I like them. I think I like the Yankees without Aaron Judge more than I like the Dodgers without Shohei Ohtani, if that makes sense. Like I'd rather have the Yankees as a stack and use Ohtani as a one-off than vice versa. So yeah, Boston, Toronto, Yankees. There's an interesting thought. You could play the Cubs. They have the lowest implied run total on the slate. I would do this more, I think, on DraftKings than on FanDuel. Like this guy, Hayden Birdsong guy, is probably going to have higher ownership than we thought. And I don't know, maybe he's just not ready. and like one of his things is he has control issues even in the minor leagues. So like if there's jitters there and that like compounds the control issues, then like the Cubs could just be walking around the park until somebody hits a home run. So that's kind of a one-off, like super large field strategy, but I think it's viable on the slate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Joe in the chat says, "Hey Roth, the Weather Channel is saying between 8:30 to 9 for the bad weather." I think I said 8:30 to 9:30, so I think we're in agreement. That's good. I would rather be in agreement than not in agreement. Cheese, what are you doing here stack wise? Chris said tonight is a play whoever you want kind of night. Is that what you're feeling?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think. I mean, it's possible I had 12 different stacks in my first 12 lineups or something close to it, if not that. Like, it really is just. There's not a single team that, yeah. Like, I see the very obvious upside for every single team, which is why Squirrel said every pitcher could get a negative. Officially, I guess I think the Red Sox are air quotes chalk, but I think it's even the ownership is really very spread out. So I'm not overly worried about it. I'm very much on board with what he said about the Cubs, and that's with me saying Birdsong is my highest owned pitcher by a lot. The Cubs are probably my highest owned stack too, because that's the widest range of outcomes situation. Like, we have no idea who this guy is, and for the same reason, actually, the Mets against Luis Gil. He's a wide range of outcomes pitcher. I like the Mets a lot. I a little bit more lean towards individual bats for the Twins and the Diamondbacks, although I do have stacks of them. And then I guess I think maybe the Braves go a little bit under-owned, and I do like them on DraftKings pretty good bit.
Okay, let's go around the horn, and Cheese, you can lead us off with a little catcher talk.
Let me click the button over here. All right, so this is kind of the least exciting catcher day we've had in a while. Catcher and shortstop are usual too. Like, I love this position. It's kind of a dead night for those two spots, which is unusual. I think Danny Jansen is probably my favorite one-off if I just have money. But I don't really want to spend at catcher. I think d'Arnaud is fine. I'm playing a very good bit of Christian Vasquez and Reese McGuire just because I just want to save money there. Everything else, just random dude in a stack.
Squirrel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Danny Jansen's the only guy that stands out and that you would want to play maybe outside of stack, other than maybe Wilson Contreras on DraftKings. Everybody else, I would just like, and they're not all terrible, but there's nobody differentiates themselves enough to warrant like playing outside of the stack.
Okay, first base.
First base, I'm gonna be going off like DraftKings positions because they've got the extra game. So like, I want to mention somebody if they're on the DraftKings slate. So yeah, Shohei Ohtani I think is like far away the best first baseman, at least on DraftKings. He is probably the top hitter on the slate. It's really arguable between him and Aaron Judge. Vlad Guerrero, Freddie Freeman's always interesting because you can't always fit Freeman and Ohtani together in a lineup. So Freeman's kind of the guy you would maybe want to play in the Dodger stack if you can't fit Ohtani, and that could sometimes work out. And then if you're trying to save money, I think JD Davis.
All right, Cheese, your thoughts? Just kind of looking at weather things. Your thoughts at first, Cheese?
It's pretty great. This is kind of like I said, this is the first day in a while. Catcher and shortstop aren't great. It's also the first day in a while at first base is great. Great, like in comparison to the rest of the slate, I think. Ohtani and Freeman, I love. I do like Vlad. I like him a little more on FanDuel. Christian Walker, Pete Alonso, and Matt Olson are all like guys who can hit 2 home runs at very low ownership. Out of that group, I like Walker first, Alonso second, Olson third. I agree with the JD Davis as a cheap guy. And you can throw Dominic Smith in there as well.
Okay. Second base, Cheese.
I like Willie Castro and Nolan Gorman. That's not it, but I like them kind of considerably better than I like everything else. If Albies and Ketel Marte weren't more expensive, it would be 4 players that I like instead of 2. And then on FanDuel, you can throw David Hamilton in there. I think the cheap stuff is pretty decent too. Like Valdez is pretty decent. Lux, Horwitz, I don't mind any of those guys. But they're only just moderately cheaper than Castro and Gorman.
Squirrel, your thoughts at second, please.
Yeah, I like David Schneider. He's hitting 6th for Toronto, but they're getting a good ballpark upgrade hitting in Boston. Willie Castro leading off for the Twins. And yet I do like David Hamilton in general as a hitter. He's got a bunch of like multi-position eligibility, but he is second base eligible on FanDuel. And then if you're maybe not playing Schneider, or maybe even if you are, and you can make the positions work, Spencer Horwitz with the Blue Jays also hitting in Fenway.
Okay, third base.
Third base, it's a pretty good position. So I like Rafi Devers the best, but I'm probably a little bit higher in the Boston Toronto game. Royce Lewis is right there with him. They're really expensive. I like Boston a little bit better as a stack than the Twins, so I'm probably going to be playing more Rafi Devers than Royce Lewis. And then right behind them is Austin Riley on DraftKings. And on FanDuel, right behind him, you have Vlad Guerrero Jr., who was third base eligible on FanDuel, but not third base eligible on DraftKings. So some pretty good third basemen if you're spending up. If you want to save money on DraftKings, JD Davis is only $3,000. He's $2,300 on FanDuel, so pretty good value play there. Or maybe Justin Turner is hitting cleanup for Toronto.
Very good. Cheese, your thoughts at third.
Yeah, I love Devers and Lewis. I mean, I think everybody does, and they're expensive, but I think they're expensive enough that they won't be like wildly chalky, and they'll kind of split up the high end ownership. So I think I have more Lewis, just because I'm certain that he'll be lower owned because he's more expensive and he's not on the Red Sox. Riley is fine. All the cheap stuff is just, it's fine, like Justin Turner, JD Davis, Enrique Hernandez. But if at all possible, and it is possible, I want to spend up at third.
Take me to shortstop, Cheese.
So part of the reason I can spend up at third is we don't have any of the usual suspects. There's no, Witt or De La Cruz or Gunnar Henderson. Like Correa is the most expensive shortstop on the slate at $5K, and I don't even think you have to play him. Hamilton and Bichette are, they're not expensive. They're just over $4K on DraftKings. It's pretty easy to get. Bichette's only $29 on FanDuel. You also have Willie Castro here on FanDuel. I'm playing some Paul DeYoung as well. Not because I just love Paul DeYoung, but getting down to 32 on DraftKings kind of makes the rest of the lineup work. And basically, if I can get like Ohtani and or Judge with Lewis or Devers, I don't care who I play at shortstop to make that work.
I think that seems fair. I approve of that. Squirrel, what do you got a short?
Let's see. Shortstop. David Hamilton, I really like. He can steal bases, and he's like hitting for a little bit of power this season. Bo Bichette, Francisco Lindor, probably going to be pretty overlooked because he's playing against Luis Gil, and like Gil's the top projected pitcher. And then Anthony Volpe leading off for the Yankees.
Easy enough. How about the outfield?
Outfield, I think it's defined by like Ohtani and Aaron Judge. So you're probably picking between those two. Like I said, I probably like Ohtani more as the one-off with Yankees, and Yankees more as a stack, but like you can absolutely use Judge as a one-off. Right behind them, Jarren Duran with the Red Sox, and then Juan Soto with the Yankees. Right behind them, Wilyer Abreu. On DraftKings, like Marcelo Ozuna is probably going to go too low owned, because people aren't necessarily thinking even about that game. But like he's hitting the cover off the ball. So and then I think maybe Luis Robert is pretty good. Going against Gavin Stone, who's also going to be a popular pitcher, but like Robert can always hit like a home run or two, and then suddenly nobody's got him because Stone's really highly owned.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, your thoughts in the outfield?
Very similar. I mean, like very obviously Ohtani and Judge. And I have a lot of lines with both of them. Like that's the reason why I'm playing someone as nonsensical as Ryan Nelson on DraftKings, like because I can get Ohtani and Judge. I do like Luis Robert a lot for the salary. All of the Twins outfielders, as well as Jock Peterson on the Arizona side, I like a pretty good bit. I would say Buxton and Kepler, mostly on the Twins side. I'll probably play Castro a second. I like Adam Duvall as a cheap play on DraftKings. And even Laureano, I think, is acceptable as a punt. And then sort of when I get down to the third outfield spot on DraftKings, if I can't get to like the 4K range with like one of those Twins guys or Willie Abreu or something like that, kind of like at shortstop, if Michael Ciani for 2,100 is what allows me to play Devers, Judge, and Ohtani, I'm just going to play Michael Ciani and just be fine with it.
Yeah. The people want some home run calls, and I have to give a weather update, and it's not one that I'm all that excited about giving, but I've got to up the risk a little bit in Boston. I had hoped that these little showers south of the city would just be little showers south of the city, but they're building into thunderstorms, and that's something that forecast models were kind of showing. I still think they probably hold just south, but if you want to add Boston to your I don't want any risk games, then that would be a game that you should avoid if you don't want any risk. I think if you're just straight up playing and taking everything into account and you're okay with some risk, I'm all right with it. But I would say an increasing chance of a delay the later we go in Boston. And as I mentioned off the top, if they get a delay, there's no promises that that game finishes at that point.
That's very exciting. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah. I know you guys love hearing that. Yeah, it's the difference between it going fine and it not finishing is going to be like that. So I'm still on team. It probably works out, but it's going to be damn close. We got a Chicago lineup. Dean dropping that in the chat. Horner, Bush, Belly, Suzuki, Happ, Morrill, Swanson, my boy Pete Crow Armstrong, and Amaya is catching. Anything there?
You're
different?
Probably not going to be surprised to hear that. I think that is literally 100% exactly what our team had it at because they're amazing.
Man, we're good. Is Pete Crow Armstrong amazing, or do I just like him because he has an awesome name?
More because of the name.
Okay.
He's cheap and will develop some power at some point. But the name is better than the player right now.
Yeah, I want him to be awesome because I want to be able to say Pete Crow Armstrong many times throughout the next 10 years.
We got Birdsong pitching against Crow Armstrong.
Oh,
that'll be quite a matchup.
Nice. All right, let's give some home run calls and then we'll take some QQs. So, Squirrel, you want to start us off with some bomb calls, some squirrel nuts?
Sure, I'll go Willie Abreu hitting one out in the rain apparently in Boston.
What Abreu was this?
Willier. He's for Boston.
Is he related?
He's just making up names right
now.
Bro,
okay.
That's not a real guy.
Is there any relation to other Abreus, or we don't know?
No idea.
Right. We're Googling this.
But I'll add Christian Walker, and I'm going to go Pete Crow Armstrong. I totally missed the Crow Armstrong versus Birdsong connection. So I get
that's a narrative for sure.
PCA is going to hit one out tonight.
That comes ahead of Bobblehead Night, actually, in the pantheon of narratives.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not seeing any relation for Willier Abreu to the other Abreus, but this was just a brief little Googling there. Cheese, you got a few names for me?
Sure. How about Royce Lewis, Nolan Gorman, and Paul DeYoung?
Okay. Let's dive into the QQs. I think we've got 20 minutes until lock. I do feel we'll see how the questions come, and we'll see what happens weather-wise as well. Just kind of looking at radar here. Give me a moment. Yeah. Okay. Nothing. No big changes. Let's do some QQs here. Scrolling up. Boolies, this is, I don't fully understand this question, Cheese. With Birdsong's low salary and a smaller slate, are you willing to drop your minimum salary in lineup HQ? Oh, like the minimum.
He's saying, can you leave salary on the table?
Right.
And you definitely can. I mean, really on any small slate, but certainly tonight, I think leaving salary is totally fine. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Let's go to Alex's question. Squirrel, this one's for you. DK single entry. Kepler Alonso or Duran and Dom Smith? Ownership is not a concern. Just who's putting up more points?
I think Duran and Dom Smith.
Okay.
As long as the winner checks out.
Okay. FanDuel cash question for you, Squirrel. 3v3. Heel, Hamilton, and Kiermaier. My boy, the outlaw, Kevin Kiermaier, he's still around? That's exciting. Heel, Hamilton, and the outlaw, Kiermaier, or Stone, Boba Fett, and Pages.
I'd go with the first one because I like Hila and Hamilton. I think like Kiermaier, unfortunately, the weak link there, but I'd still go with Hila and Hamilton and Kiermaier.
I mean, did he just come back from the dead, or have we really gone an entire half season and never once brought his name up?
He's been playing.
He
doesn't play every day, but he plays more often than not.
Okay, but we never play him apparently because his name has never been
like he bats ninth for the Blue Jays, and like when he starts, he's usually a pinch hit risk, and like he has no power or really speed left. He's not good anymore, but he still plays.
Yeah, I don't know if he.
He was. Yeah, he was.
I liked him. I was always a fan. What do we got? Cheese, are you okay with Mets 1 through 5 DK single entry?
Yeah, I'm more than okay with it. I like it a lot.
Okay. Jumping into the YouTube. Hey, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're trying to remember how much you're paying for, it's free. This is free content by two of the sharpest minds in the biz. Make sure you hit us with that thumbs up. That's all we're asking for. Cheese, would you go Duran and Larnack or Kepler and Freddie Freeman? FanDuel cash question.
I would go Kepler Freeman.
Okay. Our guy Budho Jenkins says men with hyphenated last names seem weak and deserve a pass.
I mean, if you name yourself that for certain reasons, maybe. He has a dad or a mom named Armstrong, and the other one is the other name. Like his parents aren't married, and one's an Armstrong and one's a Crow. So I think it's viable and not necessarily weak.
Okay, I don't really find it ever to be weak, but
yeah, I don't either. But you know,
Jeremy, shout out to Jeremy Stempin's kid, 3-year-old on his lap, pointed at Roth and said, "Is that your friend?" That's right, little Stempin. Yes, hey, good to see you. Let's see, Nico Horner, Squirrel, or Bo Bichette?
Oh, I'd go Bo Bichette.
Okay. Flying Armbar says, "Oh, who will the Pistons take at 5 tonight?" This whole draft is just—it's all like I took a bunch of papers and threw them in the air, and we'll see where they land.
You know what's great and very true story? I had no idea there was an NBA draft tonight until Dan Bach tweeted, "I've never seen less excitement for an NBA draft." It's like, yeah, true. In
yes.
fact. Yes,
that is.
Accurate. I really didn't know it was happening.
Yeah. There's no Wemby out there. By the way, the 3-year-old wave back. That's awesome. I got away with kids, other than my own, who is currently screaming her face off. What do we have? What other games have bad weather? Really, it's just Boston with a chance of trouble. I'm still hoping, still thinking it probably works out okay. And then New York, which I think is a likely delay, probably in the Fenway. I still think it's going to work out. It's just going to be so damn close in Boston that I'm definitely more alarmed now with these storms popping up than I was at the start of the show in Boston. Anyways, finish my sentence. I think they will finish a game in New York even after a delay. Squirrel, I'm cramming in Royce Judge Ohtani. I've got 2,600 left on FanDuel. I need an outfielder. So who is the dirt cheap outfielder there on FanDuel?
That is specific 2,600 or less.
Yep.
Man, you're close to George Springer, but I'd go Brett Wisely leading off for the Giants.
Okay. Flying Armbar says, Cheese, who is our cash and GPP pitcher on FanDuel today? We got to bring up the cheap guy because he's like dirt cheap over there, right?
Yeah, he's 5,500. He's my highest owned pitcher.
What was his name? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Birdsong.
My apologies, Mr. Birdsong. I don't know how the hell I forgot that. Just saw the Wiz traded Denny Abdia and died a little on the inside. Squirrel, do you have thoughts on Denny?
Oh, I hope they didn't really trade him. Oh, wow. Portland for 14th pick and Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know what's going on there.
Doesn't like it. Oh, no. We do not approve.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Mets or Twins? DK single entry. Cheese. Who do you got?
You said Mets or Twins?
Correct.
I mean, Twins, but I very much like both.
Okay. Thoughts on Laureano for Atlanta, Squirrel? Jim says your thoughts on Laureano for Atlanta.
Not really on my radar. So I mean, that would be DraftKings only. Trying to think of maybe an alternative for 2,600. I mean, I guess he's fine. I think you could go to like Kiermaier instead, and he's a little bit cheaper. Okay. I like the Toronto Boston game as long as it plays. If you can find the money, maybe get up to JD Davis.
Okay. Goombas says your favorite high leverage pitcher or stack in a large field tournament. I feel like the answer here has to be the Cubs, right? Against Birdsong.
I think it would be the Cubs. I don't think anything's going to be super high leverage because nothing's really worthy of like garnering a bunch of ownership.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think a delay is almost definitely coming for New York. We're getting a little closer now. It still looks like it's 90 minutes out, if not, 90 plus minutes out, which would give you, kind of the time that you need there. Let me look at Boston again. So close. I don't think you change anything. What else do we have here? Back in the Discord here, DK large field tournament, Squirrel, DeYoung and Nolan Gorman, or Mason Wynn and Emmanuel Valdez.
I think I'd go with the Valdez and Mason Wynn.
Okay. Roth, is Crawford still okay in Boston?
It's the pitcher for the Red Sox.
Yeah. I think so. I don't know so. If you want to have a safer play, then by all means. DKGPP Cheese, is Fetty getting chunnel cake tonight?
Probably not. Like, he's a very good pitcher. I still like the Dodgers. Like, I think he gets beat, but I don't. They're not going to go out and score 100 runs on him.
Okay. Someone asked delay chances in St. Louis, and I think the answer to that is no, but also kind of been focused on some other games, and no, they're fine in St. Louis. No issues there. They should be good. Oh, where are we here? Back in the RG Discord here. Cheese, I need one stack to win it all. Where are you going?
I think we all need that.
That's all you need. Just one.
Mets.
Okay. Castro or Volpe, they're basically the same salary, Squirrel. Who do you got? Castro or Volpe?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'd go Volpe.
What do you think about a Cub stack and FanDuel for the 222 contest? I feel like, I don't know. I like the Cub stack. Am I the only one?
Like, if you're doing one lineup, I don't know if I would do one Cub stack.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like playing them in larger field, but it depends on your risk tolerance. Yeah.
Okay. Lone Wolf says you're a badass, Roth. Everyone loves you in the industry. Thank you. I needed that. I was feeling a little down and a little stressed. Thank you for the kind words. Cheese, are you okay with Woods Richardson?
Yeah. I don't like him, but I have him in a few lineups. I'm okay with him.
Okay. Bregonia says, is Heel safe in New York? Safe is not the word I would use, but I do think a delay in New York would likely come fifth inning or later being the key phrase there, not earlier than the fifth inning. So in that case, I think it probably is okay. What else do we have? Hey, we should do a promo read. Never been a better time to sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. You got MLB, PGA, MMA, WNBA. We got NFL around the corner here. And whatever level you're looking for, you can get yourself a 6-month combo subscription, exclusive price, $469.99, savings of $250 as opposed to buying 6 individual months of combo premium. You can also get your first month of RG Premium for $40 off for a limited time. And if you just want to test run, check things out. Little 3-day pass is $19.99. That is the best deal in the industry. So make sure you are hopping in. Let's see what we got here. Jerry Berg says, Squirrel, Duran Kepler or Walker Abreu, FanDuel Cash.
Sorry. It was Duran and Kepler or who?
Walker and Abreu.
I do Duran and Kepler.
Okay. Let's see. Batters in Boston safe. I'm not going to say they're safe. I think it probably works out. I would not use the word safe. So if you want a spot where they're actually safe, go somewhere where there's not actually rain. Stacking the Yankees and Boston with a bird song and a FanDuel GPP. Cheese, you like that?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a fair amount of those. Like Birdsong is going to be popular, but I do like it.
Okay. Birdsong or Fetty, Squirrel. He did not give any added details there. The question is just simply Birdsong or Fetty.
It's pretty close, even if you're just looking without the salaries. I would say probably Birdsong. But it's a true toss-up, and especially on FanDuel, I think you're saving a lot of money with Birdsong.
Okay. FanDuel single entry Cheese, Castro or Valdez. Valdez would complete a 4-man stack, while Castro would give me a 3-3-1-1 build.
On most slates, I would say Valdez to complete the stack, but I actually think you're better off not, if it's very close, I think you're better off not stacking and having the same stack as everyone else. I would go Castro.
Okay. And most importantly, both J. Sams and MT Red Sox would like an update on your opinions of Sir Trick Daddy. Cheese, did you get to listen to Trick Daddy?
Yeah, of course, obviously. So the first thing that happened is there's this song, Let's Go. And I put that on and I was like, oh my goodness, I know this. And then about 3 seconds later, I was like, I know this because that's an Ozzy Osbourne song from 50 years ago. So now I don't know what's going on. I guess he just steals music and that's his music. That's an Ozzy Osbourne song, which is great.
Yeah.
And he uses the word duh a lot. Take it to duh house, which I'm fine with. In duh wind. It's a little hard for me to keep up. But I listened to it in duh house here and I liked it. I'd actually heard that one.
Yeah. Look at you.
I was familiar.
I am impressed. You did multiple songs that you followed up.
Yeah, like I thought. Well, you mentioned Take It to Da House, so I wanted to listen to that one. I did know it. But really, yeah. Now I got to figure out if, in fact, he steals a lot of songs, or if I assume he's paying some royalties to Ozzy Osbourne. But when I first heard it, it took me a second. I was like, "Wait, this is his song."
Right. No,
he's super famous. Yeah, but good for him though. I'm a fan. Obviously, that's right up my alley.
This is amazing. We have a brand new Trick Daddy fan here that was just made. We need to let Trick know that he's got a new fan. That's fantastic. What else do we have here? FanDuel GPP, Birdsong or Stone, Cheese?
Birdsong.
Okay. A little more. Charles says it won't rain in New York until 11 p.m. I disagree, sir. I disagree with you. Let's see. DK tournament from Mr. Irrelevant. I'm using 3 Mets, 2 Yankees, and 3 power one-off, Squirrel. Is it worth having Woods Richardson and Hey 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 Den Birdsong? I don't know what song that is. Is it worth having Woods Richardson and Birdsong in that build?
Sure. Like, so, I mean, I guess he's saying that he's spending down for 2 cheap pitchers, and I think that's fine.
Okay. All right. Great. FanDuel, Cheese, Horwitz or Springer, last spot?
I'm going to Horwitz.
Okay. Rozo Music says your favorite outfielder, 5,200 and less, Cheese.
So that'll be DK.
Hang on. He says this is 2-game slate This is only the San Francisco and Arizona games, so that really made things.
Oh, wow.
Really changed things on us there.
5,200 outfielder in those games. I would think that's any outfielder, or except Bellinger, I guess. I like Jock Peterson there.
Okay, great. Squirrel, your favorite 2 pitchers in a DKGPP?
I probably like Birdsong, but I like doing the Cub stacks as well. And then probably Sean Manaea. Manaea and Birdsong.
What do we have? I just honestly have way too much going on with like radar, chat, questions. I feel a little overwhelmed right now, but we'll see what we can do here.
You appear to be as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Thanks, man. I don't feel it, but thank you. FanDuel Cash, Cheese, what do you got? JD Davis and Soto or Ginger Turner and Abreu?
So I don't think any one of those 4 would be in my cash build. But I guess out of that, I would go Davis Soto.
Okay. Squirrel, will you pay up for Ohtani in a FanDuel GPP?
Yes. That's absolutely on the table. I mean, he's one of my highest owned players, and should be one of everybody's highest owned players.
Yeah. Okay. E.G. Belvedere, which is a wonderful name, says FanDuel Cash, Squirrel, Cutter Crawford, or Woods Richardson.
Ooh, that's a couple of weird players for Cash. I think I'd go Cutter Crawford, but now there's like some rain risk with Boston and Toronto. I don't know, man. I'd still probably go Cutter Crawford, but like I don't know if either of those are like really the Cash guys. Like I would go for like Luis Hill or like Gavin Stone, or like go all the way down and pay for and just play Birdsong.
Yeah. Okay. We've got about 2 minutes until lock. We're going to hang out until we get there. If we got to talk food, we will. In fact, I would prefer to. Oz Rambo says, Cheese, Arizona or Minnesota 5-man stack? Actually, he said, are they okay? So he's playing both.
Talk about the name Oz Rambo. Pretty great. Yeah, they are.
Oz is Rambo. Is that your real name? Do you like Rambo?
It's got to be his real name. Like his parents were just like Ozzy Osbourne and Rambo fans.
And Rambo fans, and just
our kid Oz Rambo is going to be the greatest of all.
Oz Rambo. Tricolata cheese. Chris Brown said. Yeah, a lot of people say tricolata cheese. I do enjoy that. I can't believe you actually listened to multiple songs at that. Like, I didn't expect that.
I mean, I gotta keep up.
Gotta do it. It's 97 degrees here, so I did a Hawaiian style pizza. That makes sense. The pineapple kind of giving a pop of freshness, cool you down. Risotto or fried rice? Cheese, do you have a strong lean here? Risotto or fried rice?
Fried rice for me.
Man. Squirrel, do you have a different opinion? Risotto or fried rice?
Yeah, actually, I like risotto.
Yeah, this is tough. They're very different, and they both.
I'm not anti risotto. I just love fried rice.
I think on average, I would prefer fried rice, but man, that's a tough one. Beaner says, "Okay, can you give me a play 2,400 in the util FanDuel GPP? Less than a minute until lock. Cheese, no pressure."
24. JD Davis.
Okay. Squirrel, Heel and Nelson or Stone and Crawford DKGPP?
I'd probably go Stone and Crawford.
D Jones has more Trick Daddy recommendations for you. I think we should save it and get him with another hip hop artist.
Yeah, I might. It's conceivable that I'm done. With my Trick Daddy face. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna continue pushing more Trick upon Cheese. Final question. We have hit lock. Can you ask Cheese and Squirrel? Just one of you can take it since it's post lock and it's a late show, anyways. When they're looking at last 30-day numbers on Plate IQ, is there anything specifically they're looking for at the shorter term data? Is there anything specifically they're looking at for the shorter term data? Does that question mean anything to either of you, or it's not something you care?
I mean, I understand the question.
Okay. Cheese, you want to answer
it? Squirrel. I want to hear Squirrel's answer.
Okay.
So like if I'm including 30 like last 30 days, it's often like more color than like actual predictive, statistical stuff. Like if I'm doing a write up and I say, and I really like a hitter, weather, opposing matchup, etc. And I might say, and he's been scorching hot over the last 30 days with this like slugging percentage. Maybe the exception would be what?
It's Big T. Just
yes.
Yeah.
We needed a laugh today. Like it was a rough day for Roth. So
it wasn't a fun day for me, Big T. So thank you with that. Yeah. That's so sorry about that, Squirrel.
But anyway, someone's listening to Squirrel talk about 30 days. Keep going.
But then another thing I look at for last 30 days, if it's like a rookie and it's like, oh, he had a bad start, but over the last 30 days, it's like maybe he's like come around. He's like adjusting to the major leagues. So he's like kind of going back. Maybe if he, was really bad when he first entered the majors, but over the last 30 days, he's doing much better. Like we would have expected, given his like minor league pedigree.
Gotcha. He's settled in. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I like that. I think with that, we're going to bounce. We're post-lock. We can talk cakes another day. So for Squirrel and for Cheese, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.